I thought I'd add this on the beginning because I want to warn you that the Angry Pepper. No, he's a good guy. I don't know. I never heard him say anything about being a Christian, but he's kind of salty in his language sometimes. If you go on the Angry Pepper, you will get more of that. But if you go on the Angry Truth, although he still says some words, and I'm not oblivious to that, I have to fight that myself, but it's less. So if you have children in the room, it's to your discretion. So with that, I'm going to let this play out. I would appreciate it if you'd share this video with everyone you know. And I never ask for money, but if you, I've had people bring me money, but I never ask for money. But if you share it and you like the video, it goes a long ways toward getting it out, because I notice there's a lot of people that watch my videos and the likes and the shares are terrible. And in fact, people watch my videos, but they only watch portions of it. In order to get the whole gist, you need to watch the whole video, because what you're doing is you're missing important parts. And I'm not asking you to watch all my videos. And it's for free. I don't get paid anything. If there's a commercial on any of my videos or any ads or anything, I get nothing. And I'm not kidding. I get nothing. I've had so many channels taken down because they hate me. Why? Because I tell the truth. I'm out. Hey folks, I got a few video clips to show you. There's several, but I put the ones that were with the same person together. And the first one I want to start off with is, and the last one, it shows a guy that did what the State of the Union address should look like before the State of the Union address even came out. But it was the same day, but he did it early that day. But this one, the Angry Pepper. Now he has a channel called the Angry Pepper, and he has a channel called the Angry Truth. I took a little bit from each one, and I want to show you this. And this is what he has to say. Take a listen.
Folks, this is tremendous. Roundup is the best. Believe me, it's going to make America great again. It's incredible. We're going to use so much of it.
Let's get on with it. So, of course, guys, you saw the thumbnail, right? So the thumbnail, obviously, this whole glyphosate, excuse me. Trump issued an order declaring it a national defense priority. So President Donald Trump issued an executive order this week prioritizing U.S. production of glyphosate, saying the herbicide is critical to national security. Now, this stuff is in Roundup. We've known this for a while. This stuff causes cancer. We've known that for a while. The craziness is that even RFK is siding with this, which is bizarre. Maybe he doesn't want that fight. Who knows? Maybe he wants to stay in position. Maybe he's sacrificing this for that. Keep in mind, which I didn't know, RFK's law firm fought against Roundup. He sued and won and got people money, his clients money, money for them being affected and sick from this shit. And now he's like all about it. And the fact that they're sitting there making this a national defense priority. Now there's a study out there that suggests that using Roundup yields more food, right? Using this pesticide yields more food because you kill more pests, more food's allowed to grow. But at what risk and at what cost, right? So again, this was this stuff in Agent Orange, because somebody mentioned it earlier. And I know Agent Orange, right, had cancer, properties. This is the stuff they dropped on Vietnam vets in the jungle so that they wouldn't get bit by mosquitoes that had malaria and other diseases. Well, subsequently, spraying the forest with this shit, guys did get sick and come down with cancer. I think a lot of guys are thinking, well, shit, I'd rather caught malaria than get cancer. And I think the military knew this. The military knew that Agent Orange was poison, but they knew that the outcome of Agent Orange was going to be down the line and not immediately now. So that's why they said, we'll spray the men and let's deal with the sickness later. And that's exactly what they did. Always remember how they treated you. Now, guys, we're going to talk about the pandemic, the Mr. 19 nonsense that went on with people being treated a certain way. And for those of us that didn't take the arm ticket, for those of us that remained pure blood, they were sitting there treating us like crap. And so this video is always remember how the population, or rather the bulk of the population, treated you because you took a stand in not wanting to play in this insane game that they had going on. Always remember the moments, guys, where they treated you like garbage. Always remember that. They seem to try to a lot of people try to pretend they didn't act badly towards us. A lot of people are trying to behave like they weren't a part of that system that convinced them that we were the enemy. Remember that. Remember that we were the enemy for a long time. Remember that when you were a cop, fireman, nurse, doctor, they were banging pots, and during your shift change, they were banging pots and saying how proud of us they were and how brave we were. And collectively, everybody was in on this cheer or just making signs and leaving it out their businesses or their homes. Thank you, first responders. Thank you, doctors and nurses. Remember that. Because the media, the TV set, social media, the internet, convinced these people that we were heroes. Then when a lot of us took a stand that we weren't going to take the arm ticket, we wanted nothing to do with that stuff, we instantaneously became the enemy. And the media started convincing them that we were the enemies, the purebloods, the people that wanted nothing to do with the arm ticket. We were the bad guys. And then you had politicians on TV saying that we were going to kill people if we didn't take it. You had other people saying that it was going to stop the pandemic dead in its tracks. You had people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like screw our freedoms. You had people that were talking about if we go to the hospital, we should be the last ones to get a bed, if at all, get a bed in the hospital, because we were taking a stand. Remember that these people bribed you to take something you didn't need, whether that was food, Shake Shack, transportation, an empty Metro card, right? Money, legitimate money added to your checks. They were bribing people. They were bribing people, guys, to stay in line. And then when we didn't go along with the bribe, they threatened our job. And then they told people, well, if you don't take it by this time, you're going to lose your job. And how many people lost their jobs? Thousands, if not tens of thousands. I would probably venture to say millions lost their jobs, as far as nationwide goes. So I want people to remember that. I want people to never forget that. I want people to remember some of their friends that they are still working with stabbed them in the back, wholeheartedly. I remind guys at work ever so often that they stabbed us in the back. Guys are like, and when I do, some guys are like, stabbed us in the back. Always remind them. Even leave a note on their desk. Thank you, backstabber, for supporting me in my time of need. Some of them will get it, some of them won't. Nonetheless, we should remind these clowns what they did. Because now, there are a lot of people passing away. Whether that's cancer, some neurological disorder, some basic health problem that turned into a fiasco, an intestinal issue, a heart problem, a lung, again, a nervous system, You name it, people are getting it, losing their hair, their teeth are falling out. All kinds of interesting shit is going on. And then you have neuropsychiatric issues now popping up, which I said years ago that people were changing after taking it. They were mean, they were sharp, but now we're seeing psychological issues like growing. And some people are going to sit there and go, well, it's the pressures of the world. Shut up. The pressures of the world have pretty much always been the same, with the exception of now that we got social media, there's more of it. But we've always been at the state of war at some point in time in this country. There's always been a threat of war or our freedoms being taken away for as long as I can remember. So a lot of people trying to blame that. One guy was like, well, it's the pressure of shut up. It has nothing to do with the pressure of society and the war. It has to do that people were being lied to about something we didn't need. People are easily manipulated. And so those people who say they're free thinkers, those people that say, I think on my own, they're the same people who sat there and screamed at you for not taking something you didn't need. Remind these people when you can. It could be a subtle reminder, like the Pure Blood t-shirt, that you didn't take the shot. You can also tell somebody when they're talking about, you know who else got cancer? Oh man, Smith. Yeah, Johnny Smith upstairs. He just got cancer, stage 4. And then you'll like subtly add in there, you know who's not going to get cancer? The people that didn't take the arm ticket. And then you just walk away. Do shit like that. Again, just to I guess, rubbing in their face would be like one of your friends had cancer, like, you shouldn't take the arm ticket, and then walking away. That's rubbing in their face. But everybody else, you just let them know that you should have took the stand. There are people who are legitimately upset who took it. There are people who legitimately took it and are upset and state, at least to me, I wish I'd never taken it. I don't know one person, guys, that didn't take it that said, shit, I should have taken that thing. Not one person I know regrets not taking it. But I know almost everyone in my circle that took it that regret taking it. And it's on their face. They're upset. They're pissed off because they let the system lie to them, and they just realized that they would have felt better if they took that stand. Listen, I didn't buck the system, if you will, because it made me feel better. I didn't want that bullshit in my body at all. After everything that was being said and done about it, I'm like, no, I'm not putting this in there. Not even a little bit. I'll handle naturally and on my own. And many of you did the same thing. You go, yeah, I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to fight this on my own. I'm going to fight this on my own accord. And we did that, and we're still here. Remember, guys, they said that for those of us that didn't take it, we were going to be dead. It's 2026. I'm still here, and I'm fairly healthy. I don't have any issues. You know what I'm not going to get? All of the problems I mentioned earlier. Neurological, cancer, stomach issue, heart problems. We're not going to see that. We don't have anything to worry about. But our friends, especially if your friends are still good with you, your friends, you're looking at them every day like, when's tomorrow going to be the day that they tell me, this is happening? Because it's coming. And it's coming for a lot of people. And we're going to see, like I said, every year we're going to see more of an influx of people getting sick. Right? Was it Eric Dane, the guy from Grey's Anatomy that just passed away? A lot of people he had to have taken it. And of course he did. He was on a TV show. So, or rather, I'm not sure if the TV show was off the air by then, but he was still active. He had to take it. Then he get ALS, and then he was dead. It was inside of a year, at the very least, being diagnosed, telling the public, and now he's gone, right? So we're watching a lot of celebrities pass away. Always remind these people that they treated us like shit and that they were wrong. Always. And always remember that they treated you like shit. Remember the businesses that treated you like shit. I don't go into Shake Shack, and not because they treated me like shit, because they were part of that stupid, take the arm ticket, we'll give you free burger bullshit. I won't eat in there at all anymore. I ate in there once, and after I ate in there once, I'm like, this place sucks anyway. Five Guys is a lot better. But anyway, that's an opinion thing. Point, guys, is that always remember they treated you like shit, because if something like this happens again, these are the same people that are going to turn on you in a heartbeat again. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.
Now, I got another one here. And this one is from Black Scout Survival. And it's a couple clips off a couple different videos that he put out. But he has a lot to say, too. I hope you like the first one. Now, Black Scout Survival is a Marine. You know, and he's pretty smart. Not that any of the people that I'm putting on here are not smart. I'm not saying that. But this is a guy who has been, bringing stuff to light for a while. And him, among others, are one of the ones that will not let the Epstein files go undone. But that's not all he's talking about here. So what you need to do is look at this, and I'll be back after this again.
Something is breaking. And if you can't feel it, it's probably because you're asleep or you don't want to hear it. 6 months ago, questioning power was patriotic. Today, questioning power gets you labeled a traitor, a liberal, by your own side. You know, when Trump came back in office, people expected fire. We expected accountability. We expected exposure. We expected the people who weaponize institutions against us Americans to finally feel pressure. We expected transparency, and instead, something shifted, not all at once, but enough people started noticing that a lot of what we see is low-hanging fruit, optics, memes, and just things to appease us when really nothing's happened. The second we noticed that, though, we were told to shut up. You notice the tone with your favorite influencers, okay? Go back 6 months, maybe even 3. Influencers screaming, release the files, drain the swamp, expose them, stop wasting money, stop sending money to foreign countries. Now it's trust the plan. Oh, man, we got to stay unified. The midterms are coming. Don't fracture the base. That language sounds pretty familiar. It's the same language every political machine uses once it's inside the system. And that should make every American uncomfortable. Guys, let me ask you a simple question. If we were still under the Biden administration, if this was Christopher Wray, and he flew on a government jet on your dime to attend the Winter Olympics, celebrate in the locker room, throw on a gold medal, chug some beers, dance like a fraternity brother after rush week, would you be furious? Don't lie. You would lose your mind. So why is it different now? Why are so many people defending this? Okay. We have Kash Patel. He attended the Winter Olympics. He's the FBI director, okay? And he's in the locker room, celebrating, dancing, drinking, wearing the medal like he freaking coached the team. And I can assure you, these boys would rather have a million other people than Crash Dummy Patel in the locker room celebrating with them. I can assure you. Look, I love America. I really don't care about hockey, but I'm from the South, so. And I love to win no matter what the sport is. But optics matter. You are the FBI director. You're not a hype man. And reports say that it costs upwards of $70,000 to make the appearance. Okay, you're talking aircraft, security detail, logistics, and that's taxpayers' money, your money. And the litmus test is this. If you excuse behavior on your team that you would condemn on the other team, then you're not principled. You're partisan sheep, period. If Christopher Wray had done this under Biden, same locker room, same beer chugging, same medal around the neck, conservative media would be nuclear. Everybody in the world would be flipping out. Every podcaster, social media influencer, they would be losing their damn mind. It'd be wall-to-wall outrage. You can't tell me differently. I'm not going to believe that. Say unprofessional, waste of taxpayer dollars, tone deaf. And they'd be right. So you have to ask yourself what changed. We're so polarized by this, okay? Polarized by politics. It's unreal. You can't even, and Yuri Besimov warned us of this, that even when something is shown to you, you're going to deny it, you're going to defend it, and it breaks down into tribalism. People took politics as their own identity. So whenever you attack this party or this party, it's left and right. They both do the same thing. The radicalized folks, they take it as a direct attack upon themselves. But you have to ask yourself, why is it bothering people? Well, maybe because we elected these people, or we elected this administration, these people were selected to fix things. But I'm telling you, and I've been saying this, I've been seeing this happen. Instead, everyone looks like an influencer. From the top down, we're getting memes, we're getting nonsense. Even J.D. Vance attended. He made his wife move over so Jake Paul could sit next to him. All these guys want to be influencers. They don't want to do the job. So much so Dan Bongino said, man, I cannot sit here anymore. I've got to get back to the podcast. We have RFK Jr. and Kid Rock doing hot tubs together. We have Pete Hegseth doing bench press with, I assume, is fake weights. We got cabinet members live streaming moments and politicians chasing viral clips. It feels like content creation instead of actual governance. Guys, you're not Twitch streamers, okay? You're federal officials. The FBI director shouldn't look like he's trying to get drafted into a beer commercial. Meanwhile, we're sharing a potential escalation overseas, Iran tensions. And trust me, with that alone, you're looking at domestic threats. And that chatter's rising, if you hadn't heard. I hadn't had time to film a video on it, but they're saying there's potential domestic threats here, terrorist threats. We have unresolved investigations. Now, I don't even know about the Nancy Gunther thing. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. but they've pretty much taken it upon themselves to search for Nancy at this point, because we have Kash Patel partying overseas. Public trust in federal institution is at a historic low. This is not 1995. This is not peacetime prosperity. The country's volatile. The world is volatile, and optics matter during a volatile time like this. What do you think the rest of the world leaders, when they see Kash Patel out there partying like a rock star? And RFK Jr. getting a hot tub with Kid Rock. I mean, or cold plunge, whatever it was they're doing. I don't even know. You have to ask yourself, how serious are these people? Leadership during instability should look steady, focused, and controlled. Not frat house parties. That's not what it should look like. Now, Kash Patel came out in his defense and said, hey, man, for everyone concerned, yes, I love America. Was extremely humble when my friends, the newly minted gold medal winners of Team USA, invited me into the locker room to celebrate this historic moment with the boys. Greatest country on earth and greatest sport on earth. I wonder if he was such a big hockey fan before. I don't know. But I would probably say probably not. But, you know, of course, I love to see Olympians get gold medals for our country, you know. But we have serious issues. We have serious issues going on. We have the E-Files, Jeffy Epi. Now, no arrest here in America, but we are having some overseas.
And now confirm that the Metropolitan Police are saying that Peter Mandelson has been arrested. Because we can.
I mean, they're arresting people based off the release, and we are doing nothing. That Kash Patel sat there and said no credible co-conspirators. co-conspirators. It's wild. Now, if we go a flashback, talking about Christopher Wray, you'd never see Christopher Wray. I can't stand Christopher Wray. He should be in prison. But he never did any nonsense like that. But even Kash Patel said himself that he shouldn't be wasting taxpayer dollars here in 2023.
I'm not the defund everything guy. I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off. Just a thought.
Minimum.
What changed, Cash? Because now you're in it. You're doing stuff like this. I mean, he could have even went down there. Let's say he just went down there. He doesn't have to act like he's a teenager. He act like he just won the game. Jumping, shaking his head. I mean, just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. We're not a serious country anymore. Let me be clear on this, is that celebrating a national win, fine. Attending an international event, fine. But there's a difference between showing support and inserting yourself into the spotlight. The FBI director is not supposed to be the main character. He's supposed to be the adult in the room. There's a reason why past directors were stiff, reserved, almost robotic in public settings, because neutrality and professionalism are the currency. And once you spend that currency on vibes and viral moments, you don't get it back easily, and you're never taken seriously again. I don't personally like Kash Patel. Never have, because he said one thing completely the opposite. But whatever. Let's say you don't hate him. It's about consistency. If you want law and order, if you want accountability, if you want seriousness, you apply the same standard across the board. No hero worship, no tribal blindness. No, it's okay because he's our guy. I've really learned that I'm really tired of that rhetoric, but I've learned that most Americans will let anything go as long as it's their team. I saw that with the Democrats. Hunter Biden caught with cocaine, the laptop, and the Dems are defending it. I see the same thing on the right. They defend just dummy stuff. No, we're supposed to be individuals with honor, integrity. I see that going down the drain. Now, I believe a lot of my viewers feel the same way as me. That's what they're watching me. But we're talking about the majority of the masses, because I saw many people in many comments on many posts defending Kash Patel, acting like a college student. You cannot defend nonsense because he's our guy. That's how institutions rot. They rot slowly, quietly, and sometimes with applause. And I know a lot of people feel at the moment, because the Jeffy Epi, nothing's happening. It's happening overseas, which should tell you everything you need to know about where we are as a country. Right now, it's about memes and feel-good vibes. That's all I've seen. People are saying, oh, man, the country's doing great. We're doing all this. I haven't seen anything other than feel-good vibes. I remember hearing something about the IRS was going to get dismantled, that tariffs was going to take place as a tax. That's not happening. You're getting hit with the tariff tax too. Heard about Doge checks coming your way. Hadn't seen those. And I'm not saying I want government money. What I want is the government quit taking my money, quit wasting it on going to freaking hockey games. Listen, you can love America. Man, you can love hockey. You can celebrate wins. But if you are the director of the FBI, freaking act like it. Because in a world that feels like it's coming unglued, the last thing people want to see is the top cop looking like he just got tapped into a fraternity. And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. That means the standards still matter. I want to know your thoughts in the comments about this, guys. Man, truly, I was blown away. It's just, and I bet those hockey guys would love to have anybody else down there. I know I would. Anybody else, man. Take a B-rated actor, man. Get anybody down there, you know. It's crazy. But again, I feel like we've gone so far astray, and it's time to wake up. Guys, get on my email list if you haven't. You'll get the 10 rules of martial law checklist, okay? Because that's probably coming too, let's just be honest with ourselves. Also try to give out information, training stuff, just what I can put in an email, obviously, but anything that can help the standard citizen, because collapse will come. We're going to head that way, trust me. And when it does come, you will be ready. Also, we put in new products and things like that. That way to keep you geared up. And while I'm at it, I got these amazing gaiters on my head. We just became a Gators distributor, and you can see them here. These are the FD Cerakoted American-made shades, man. I love supporting American companies, and these things are incredible. Really incredible shades, and American-made again, all metal. We've got ballistics. We got a curated selection. We don't carry the full product line. We only carry what I think Black Scouts should be wearing. Okay. But we've got a lot of them. We got some of the ballistics, so the clear lens. That's actually what I use, especially running nods. You want to wear iPro, the ballistic ones, clear lenses under your nods. And so we got those as well. Well, we got a curated selection there, and I've been wearing them constantly, man. I love them, and I love supporting American small business. So, and we sent out an email this morning about that. That's what I was telling you. And these are the ones I'm rocking. I'm also rocking another pair too, with the gold lens. I know a lot of guys like those reflective lenses too. But anyway, check them out and check out obviously our other products that we have. We got all the gear you need. That's been pretty much our mission since our inception. A lot of people think that I'm just some YouTuber. No, I started a company, Tactical Survival Gear, and it led me here because the world is in decay, and somebody has to stand up and use their voice for something, right? A lot of people say, they'll call other, podcasters because in the middle of their video, they're like, hey guys, buy this gold from such and such or play this video game. I don't do that shit. I'm a serious guy. I run a company, and my goal in life is to outfit you. Just so happens I wound up doing YouTube, and this is where we are. Okay. So make YouTube videos as well, because it used to be tactical and survival training and combatives, and now we're here because I could not stand idly by anymore and allow me not to use my voice to do something. A lot of people think, what can I do? Use your voice, ladies and gentlemen. Use your voice, because the loudest, the ones that are heard, are usually the ones that are radicalized. And we stand on principles. Am I right? Anyway, guys, let me hear your comments below, your thoughts on this. And stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. Black Scout.
Okay, now, how do you like that one? Okay, so now we got End Times Production. Now, I was going to put another one in here, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm probably going to add a little short video speaking of a couple things on the front of this. So when I say, hi, folks, or whatever it was I said, it's because I've added before that. And so anyway, this is End Times Productions. And, he's got a lot of good videos out. And I don't know, my hair is like fly away and I'm inside. All right. So anyway, he has how the State of the Union address really should be. It will never be this way, but this is how he thinks it should be. And you know what? I totally agree. But I know no one is going to get arrested for anything. They're getting arrested in other countries, just not in the United States. They're covering up for each other. Folks, this country is already fallen. It's at a downward spiral to the pit. The Lord God does not like what we do here. He hates it. We have abominations left and right going on. We have the government controlling you and stealing from you and murdering you. We have the platforms censoring you if you talk about it. What do you think's coming? You know, I'm going to tell you this, and I say this sometimes, but I've been looking for a wife, right? You know what I found? Well, I'm living my best life now. Really? Well, I'm not. I want to live my best life with Christ. Am I perfect? Far from it. Do I grieve about it? Oh, yeah. I find people that want to bury their head in the sand. And even I had an argument with a relative yesterday. Sad situation. She says, well, you know, I thought the State of the Union was pretty good. The address was pretty good. I said, it was terrible. And then all of a sudden we got an argument. I was trying to tell her, look, he's not doing what he said he was going to do. He's not doing what he said he did. And he's not doing anything that he campaigned on. He's out of touch, or he knows what's going on. He's part of it. And I'm telling you, he's part of it. And Christians, you got to stop defending this guy. He is a snake, just like he said he was in the poem. He did not say that for any reason other than he was telling you who he was, but you didn't listen, did you? And I've been there too. God said, no, no, no. And then when one of my wives left, I screamed at him and said, you knew this was going to happen. Why'd you let this happen to me? He said, I tried to tell you, but you didn't listen. And it come out of those words come out of my own mouth immediately after I said, you knew this was going to happen. Why'd you let this happen? So I'm telling you, folks, time's up. It's up. Let's get going. I'll be back after this.
Every year, the President of the United States stands behind a podium, looks into the camera, and tells you the State of the Union is strong. Every year. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what party. It doesn't matter if the country is bleeding out on the floor. The State of the Union is always strong. You've watched it. You've sat through the applause lines, the standing ovations, the handshakes, the rehearsed emotions, all of it. And somewhere in the back of your mind, if you're like me anyway, maybe when you're checking your bank account, when you're doing the math at the gas pump, or staring at a medical bill that you can't pay, you've thought the same thing that millions of Americans have thought. None of this is true. The State of the Union is not strong. Everything they said was a lie, and it feels like every day gets worse and worse for me. So, picture this. The president walks up to the podium and for once, just one time, says what every working person in this country already knows. It would go something like this. My fellow Americans, the State of the Union is a lie. It's not struggling. It's not facing challenges. It's not navigating headwinds. It's a lie. And every single person sitting in this chamber tonight knows it. The donors writing the checks know it. The lobbyists who are drafting legislations know it. The defense contractors, the pharmaceutical executives, the hedge fund managers who are watching from their penthouses they bought with your retirement money. They've always known it. The only people who don't seem to know it are the ones who are paying for it. You. So, let me do something no president has ever done before on this podium. Let me tell you the truth about the state of our union. The average rent in this country is now $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year just to keep a roof over your head. The median wage? Well, it's about $25 an hour. And that's actually very generous because in a lot of states, $25 an hour seems like a pipe dream, okay? Consider the minimum wage in how many states is still $7.25 an hour. Is that a living wage? Not even close. Do the math. After taxes, after health insurance, which we'll get to, by the way, after the deductions, each your check, before you even see any money, half of your income goes to your landlord. Not to your mortgage, not to equity, not to building anything long-term. No, rent. Somebody else's investment property. 9 million Americans who wanted to buy a house got priced out of the market since 2022. 9 million families who did everything they were told. They saved money. They worked hard and they waited And guess what? The door was shut in their face anyway. First-time homebuyers fell 26%. That's the lowest rate in over a decade. The American dream isn't dying, it's dead. And it's being sold to private equity and rented back to you at a markup. And groceries? Well, let's talk about that. Because food prices have increased nearly 30% since 2020. Let that sink in. 30%. Your paycheck didn't go up 30%. For most of you, either it barely went up at all or it's gone down because everywhere, all over the country, jobs are being cut. Hours are being cut. How are you supposed to pay your bills when you're only getting 15, 20 hours a week? Get another job. So you work 2 jobs working $20 each. And guess what? Maybe that's enough to pay your bills. And maybe it's not. And if it's not, what do? Look for a third job? For low-wage workers all across the country, the people who are stocking shelves, the people who are cooking your food, the people serving your food, the people working at the stores, the people pumping your gas, the people driving the trucks that bring you all your goods every day, the people who clean those buildings, well, they saw their actual wages, their living wages decline last year. Most people around the country right now are making less than they did a year ago. And when you factor in all of the increases in prices of everything, things are starting to look grim. Beef is up over 16% in just a year. People can't even afford to buy burgers and steaks anymore. Orange juice is up 30%. Coffee, nearly up 12%. But that's okay, guys, right? Because the Dow Jones Industrial Average is at record highs. The S&P 500 also broke records. Corporate profits are at historic levels. So the economy is doing great, right? That's what they're going to tell you. The economy is doing fantastic. Look at the AI companies. Look at how many trillions of dollars Nvidia is worth. Well, yeah, it's doing great for them. For the people in this room, that's doing great for the people who work in the government. It's doing great for all the people with the inside information like Nancy Pelosi, for all the people who own stocks, for all the people who sit on boards, who write the tax code and then walk through loopholes like they're built into it. These people don't pay taxes like you and I pay. These people spend their whole career trying to find loopholes so they don't pay taxes. They're laughing all the way to the bank. But for you and me, this economy is a slow motion eviction notice. Young workers all across the country right now are experiencing the sharpest income slowdown in the history of our country. They can't find jobs. They can't switch jobs because there's a hiring freeze. All across the country, the biggest companies are now not hiring anymore. Why? Well, it's because they're implementing AI and they're trying to replace people like us. Normal people can't buy homes because the prices are insane. They can't invest because they're using credit cards to buy groceries. And the people on the financial news networks sit there straight-faced and talk about consumer confidence. There is no consumer confidence. This country is flushing down the toilet as you watch this, okay? Consumer confidence is a joke. That's what they talk about. 53% of Americans say that grocery prices alone are a significant source of stress. Not an inconvenience, stress. The kind that follows you to bed, the kind that makes you do math in the cereal aisle, the kind that makes a parent choose between fresh vegetables and keeping the lights on. In the richest country in the history of civilization, people have to worry about how they're going to feed their families. Your money, you should know where it goes. The Pentagon just asked for $962 billion, $1 trillion military budget, $13.4 billion for autonomous weapon systems, drones, AI kill chains, unmanned submarines, and orbital weapon platforms. $6 billion on military IT. This is the first year in American history where the Department of Defense has its own dedicated AI budget line. Meanwhile, 3 out of every 4 American workers say they can't even afford anything beyond basic living expenses. According to the numbers, nearly 30% of Americans have taken on debt just to cover their daily costs. Okay, what happens when you put your bills on the credit card? Well, the credit card, the interest rates are going to kill you. Okay, how do you expect to pay the interest rates and pay off your credit card when you can barely even afford to pay your electric bill? It's not going to happen. This is a ticking time bomb. 28% of Americans had to move because they couldn't afford rent. They had to relocate to cheaper housing, all right? And we're spending $13 billion on robots that kill people? That's not defense. That's a priority statement, and you are not the priority. It's them. It's the AI systems. It's the people who are in the Epstein files. They are the priority. They are the ones running the shots. And you're just an afterthought. You're just a means to an end. In January 2026, the Department of Justice released over 3 million pages of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. 3.5 million. 2,000 videos. 180,000 images. Flight logs, contact books, emails that are spanning over a decade. There's FBI interview transcripts with underage girls describing what he has done to them. One girl was 14 years old. The FBI knew about Epstein since 1996. An agent received a direct complaint from a survivor that nothing ever happened because of it. Nothing ever happened. Nothing happened for over a decade. And when they finally did build a case, when prosecutors drafted an indictment against Jeffrey Epstein, guess what happened? Well, the U.S. attorney in Miami, Alexander Acosta, signed off on a deal that let Epstein plead to a state charge for running a child trafficking operation. Think about that. And what happened to this man, Acosta? Well, he went on to become the United States Secretary of Labor under Donald Trump. The Secretary of Labor, the man who gave a child trafficker a sweetheart deal, got a cabinet position in the United States government. And when Congress finally passed the Epstein Transparency Act and the files started coming out, what did we get? We got hundreds of redacted pages blacked out entirely, entire grand jury transcripts that were totally redacted. The Attorney General publicly stated that there was no client list, contradicting her own words. And what happened when the FBI's deputy director pushed back on how this Epstein files were handled? Guess what happened? He was demoted, okay? Nobody went to jail. Nobody in power was held accountable. The files showed names, photographs, connection to royalty, politicians, billionaires, you name it. And the official response from the President of the United States of America was this, and this is a direct quote: Epstein was somebody that nobody cares about. Nobody cares about. Give me a break. We all care about it. And we all care about how they prioritize covering up the Epstein files over us, over the American people, over the people who are struggling to survive. Children were trafficked. Girls younger than 14 years old were recruited. Children were trafficked to people who are still in power now, and nobody cares. The entire industrial operation was built to supply underage victims to the most powerful people on the planet. And the system? This system is the very same system that not only protected Epstein, but profited from him and utilized his services. These are the very same people who are sitting in this room right now. And they protected it for decades. And then, when forced to acknowledge it, classified, redacted, buried, and moved on. This is your government. This is the system. Not a flaw in it, not a bug, not a feature. Epstein didn't happen despite the system. It happened because of the system. Because when you have enough money, you have enough leverage and power, and you have enough photographs of the right people doing the wrong things, well, guess what? You're untouchable. And when you finally get caught, the machine itself steps up to make sure no damage happens to you. You're contained. The whole thing is contained. The deal gets cut, the files get sealed, the witnesses get discredited, or they die mysteriously, and the public is told to move on. Every year, children worldwide, millions of children, are trafficked. In the most visible case in modern history, the one with the flight logs, the one with the photographs and the mansion and the billionaires, it ends with a redacted shrug. Who knows what happened? Ask yourself this question, because you already know the answer to it. If a regular person in a regular town ran an operation like that, would they walk free? Would the prosecutor get a cabinet appointment? Would the president say nobody cares? Absolutely not. There's a gap in this country that nobody on the stage will mention. Not the wealth gap. Well, there is a wealth gap, but that's not obscene enough. The gap between what you're told is happening and what is actually going on. They call it an affordability crisis. They talk about it like it's the weather. Like inflation just blew and nobody could have stopped it. We don't know what's happening. No, it's not the weather. It's theft. And since 1979, productivity in this country has skyrocketed, believe it or not. American workers produce more an hour than at any time before in human history. And the wages for the people doing that work? Flat or declining. For decades, the median wage has kept pace with productivity since 1979. You'd be making over $36 an hour right now if this was true. Instead, you make $25 an hour if you're lucky, and that's $11 an hour stolen from you. Not lost, not gone, stolen, redacted. It went somewhere. It went to the people in this room, the people who paid for them to be here. They broke the unions. They shipped the jobs overseas. They flooded the labor markets. They eliminated all pensions. They turned healthcare into a profit center. They turned housing into a speculative asset class. They turned food into a commodity traded on future markets by people who have never set foot in a grocery store. Think about that. The man running this country right now probably hasn't bought groceries at a grocery store his whole life. And then they looked at you and said, learn to code. And what happened then? Look what happened to all the coders who are being eliminated from jobs due to AI proliferation. Hospital services went up nearly 10% in the past year alone. Not because hospitals are getting better, not because the nurses are getting raises, but because the system is designed to extract the most revenue from the people who are most vulnerable. You're not a patient. You're a revenue stream. Insurance rates, well, obviously they're through the roof, and coverage is even getting worse. Okay. Utility costs are up. Electricity has climbed nearly 10% year over year. Gas is up nearly 10%. The basic infrastructure for survival, shelter, food, heat, health, all of it is being squeezed for profit by entities that answer to shareholders, not people, not citizens, not individuals who are struggling to survive, but the shareholders. And in return, what do you get? You get politics as entertainment. You get the left-right paradigm. You get this false paradigm. You get red team, blue team, an endless, exhausting culture war that is designed to keep you distracted and fighting each other so that you never look around and see who is actually pulling the strings and taking the money directly out of your pocket. They want you arguing about pronouns while they steal your pension. They want you screaming about the border while your school funding gets gutted. They want you tribal. They want you angry, and they want you tired, because tired, angry, tribal people don't organize. They don't demand. They don't threaten. They just vote for whoever yells the loudest and then go back to work. Meanwhile, there's crime rates that are through the roof. It's not even safe to walk outside anymore. You have an utter collapse of society itself and the morals in this society. People don't care anymore. They don't care about each other. Road rage is at epidemic levels. It's dangerous just leaving your house now because you don't know how other people are going to react. The American dream is dead. This country is collapsing right under our very noses, and leadership is nowhere to be found during any of this. They're playing pretend, completely insulated from the consequences of every decision that they make. The current administration, it campaigned to lower prices. They campaigned on transparency, on draining the swamp, on releasing the Epstein files. Then when the files came out, most of them were redacted, and the other ones showed that there was a satanic pedophile cult of cannibals who operate with impunity in the federal government. Prices went up, not down. The swamp, it didn't get drained. It got a renovation with a new coat of paint. The tariff? Tariffs jacked up the cost of imported goods, orange juices, coffees, electronics, auto parts. All the regular things that Americans buy on a daily basis got more expensive. The stock market fluctuated, which means nothing to 60% of Americans who don't own a single share. And even if they did, it wouldn't be enough to make a difference. $1 trillion for quote-unquote defense. $13 billion for AI weapons that are designed to kill you autonomously, and yet your kid's school can't even afford a librarian or a music class? That's the State of the Union, folks. It's not strong. It's not resilient. It's not the greatest economy in the history of the world. It's a country where working people like you and I are one medical emergency away from permanent bankruptcy, where young people have given up on ever owning a home, where the most powerful people on earth trafficked children and walked away clean, where your government spends more money on machines that kill you than keeping you alive. Our union is collapsing, and we must do something about it. The people in this chamber, they're going to applaud when I'm done. They're going to shake hands. They're going to pose for the camera. And tomorrow, they're going to go back to fundraising calls, back to the lobbyists, back to the system that made them rich and made you desperate. And they've forgotten something. They've forgotten something very important, that they need you more than you need them. Every single structure that they've built in this country, every Wall Street firm, every defense contractor, every tax loophole, every redacted page on the Epstein files runs on your labor, on your hard work, your taxes, your compliance, and your willingness to keep showing up to a rigged game, even though you know that there's no way out of it because there's no other option. There is another option, however, and it starts with looking the lie in the face and calling it what it is. The State of the Union is broken, it's corrupt, and it's maintained by people who benefit from your exhaustion. That's the truth, and you deserve to hear it a long time ago. The only question is this: what do you do now that you know the truth? Thank you, and good night. God bless America.
Okay, folks. Now I'm about done, but I think I've decided to go ahead and put that other video on here. This is from AOC. And no, not the Congresswoman. AOC channel does Christian things, and they put this together about Jared Kushner. And I think it deserves a look. So I'm going to put this on, and then I'll come back after this.
After the Board of Peace meeting this week, many are seeing how what the Bible describes in the end times can clearly shape into a reality in our lifetime. It's like everything is speeding up. and we are living in the last minutes of the last days. So many things are happening at once. They talked about global ID, digital tracking, peace among the nations and the Abrahamic faiths. Kushner was appointed as the new envoy of peace.
We're making Jared an envoy also, envoy of peace.
And they made it clear that this is not just about Gaza, but is a stepping stone for world peace. And Bible prophecy teachers are sounding the alarm about it.
Donald Trump dropped a bombshell today at the Board of Peace's first meeting, stating that the Board of Peace is going to be overseeing the United Nations. Listen to this.
We're going to be working with the United Nations very closely. We're going to bring them back. I think the United Nations has great potential. The Board of Peace is going to almost be looking over the United Nations, making sure it runs properly. The Board of Peace will be something that the likes of which I don't think anybody's seen before.
This is not normal conversation or normal politics. This is end times territory. It's time to wake up. The Bible warns of a false peace leading straight into the Antichrist one world control. We are watching prophecy unfold live.
For those of you who do not believe that the Bible is true, I would at least like to challenge you to try to see what's going on, because what's going on right now is incredibly significant. Because right now you have all of these militaries that are forming up over in the Middle East, and it's like they're being drawn there. It's almost as if there is a magnet in Israel which is pulling all of these other nations to it.
Actually, it makes me think about Daniel 8:25. By peace shall he destroy many. And what was their whole conversation about today?
Why can't the world be better? Why can't there be peace? Why can't there be more prosperity for all people?
Well, thanks, Jared. I couldn't have said it better myself. I truly believe we are in the last days. False peace is rising fast. Do not get caught sleeping. The signs are screaming.
Even if he ends his term, his second term, when he finishes it, he's still going to be in control of the Board of Peace, because the rules for the Board of Peace is that the chairman cannot leave unless he wants to. And so what I want you to focus on is that the Board of Peace is a global power. It's something that wasn't there, and now it is. And so they're going to be looking over and basically managing the United Nations, which I think is incredible. He's still going to be in control of the Board of Peace, which I think is really significant.
So things are heating up. Just recently, Jared Kushner revealed that Gaza will be turned into a smart city metropolis. In the last video, we looked at how the Bible shows that the region of Gaza will play a significant role when the Antichrist is on the scene. Recently, nations have started to push for digital ID and monetary tracking systems. And the Bible shows that the beast system will be able to track all on earth and control who can buy or sell. And this Board of Peace meeting revealed that digital ID and electronic payment tracking systems will soon be realized on a global scale. Trump and Kushner have made groundbreaking peace deals in the Middle East, with Trump now being hailed the president of peace. And Kushner has been credited as being the mastermind behind it all.
When we brought Jared in, Jared was responsible for the Abraham Accords, which is incredible. Nobody else could have done that. A very smart guy. And we're making Jared an envoy also, envoy of peace. I tell you what, I say at least we're covered from an IQ standpoint.
And of course, the Bible shows that in the end times, the nations will cry peace and security, but then destruction will come. Why? Well, because Daniel describes how an Antichrist kingly figure will rise, bringing peace right before he turns on the people of God. Now, I want to show you something interesting here. Notice how it describes the Antichrist's rise to power. It says that he will be empowered by Satan. Now, personally, I don't believe the Beast King has yet received this satanic empowerment, but look what it says happens first. How he rises to power. It says he emerges from a coalition of nations. And here it references the 10 kings of Daniel, which also parallels what Revelation says about a coalition of kings. So basically, the future king, Antichrist beast, will be involved in a coalition of nations, and those nations will give him the authority. All of this suggests that the Antichrist rises after some type of global alliance. Now you see why prophecy teachers are watching this very closely. Because something like this is fertile ground for a leader like that to arise from. And then look, it says that he gains power through strategy, not just war. By peace, he shall destroy many. Deception through diplomacy, possibly peace agreements. Wow. So, who is the Antichrist? Well, we've said this before, but we don't believe it's Kushner, because the Antichrist will be a kingly governing type of figure. Kushner is one who pulls strings behind the scenes in a mastermind type of way. And so if you watch this video, you will see where we lean regarding what his role could be. Now, the Beast King? Well, God hasn't released us to declare someone as the Antichrist until certain things happen. But if you want to know where we lean with that, check out the end of this video and pay attention to the imagery. Also, next week we will have a video on the Omen, which will be interesting, but it's also going to secretly hint at a few things in a very strategic way. So you got to have your thinking cap on. Don't miss that when it comes. Now, this first Board of Peace meeting was nearly 4 hours long, but if you watched it, paying close attention, a few things do become clear. These powerful individuals and kings are basically planning to unite in a way that will make them the global brokers of peace.
And we're going to straighten out Gaza. We're going to make Gaza very successful and safe. And we're also going to maybe take it a step further where we see hotspots around the world. We can probably do that very easily. This is a tremendous group of powerful people and brilliant people. And I think that we can do things that a lot of other people would not be able to even conceive of or think of.
Mr. President, your clear vision to promoting global peace has inspired my country to join the Board of Peace.
Joined the Board of Peace. We are committed to its success. With the leadership of President Trump, this vision of real peace will be achieved.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Mr. President, has been seeking peace and justice in the Middle East for a very long time. It is a pleasure to be here with you as we embark on a journey towards establishing a lasting and just peace in the Middle East.
These are the most powerful people in the world, they're the richest people in the world through their countries. And they have made a tremendous commitment, and the United States likewise has made a tremendous commitment.
The Bible does say that true peace will only come when Jesus returns, when he splits the Mount of Olives in halves. But before that, there will be a false peace declared, and then war will continue until Jesus comes to protect Jerusalem. Now, in years past, many of us who explore Bible prophecy, we always taught that the United Nations would likely be a key end times force in the false global peace described in the Bible. But now, many are keeping their eyes on this Board of Peace because it seems to have the plans and the backing and the financing for reaching far beyond what the UN is doing. And this Board of Peace is branding itself as an organization that will also see the unification of the Abrahamic faiths.
President Donald Trump, I take this opportunity to extend congratulations. The meeting comes during the holy month of Ramadan, where we will pray to Almighty God that our endeavors will bring peace, security, prosperity to the world. As a founding member of the Board of Peace, the Kingdom of Bahrain recognizes and endorses the tremendous potential of this body, the extraordinary drive of its chairman, and his sincere efforts to unify nations in our common objective of fostering and enduring peace for the Middle East.
It's branding itself as an organization that says it will start with Gaza and then will expand its Gaza plans globally. Kushner said that himself.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you, Mr. President. If Jews and Muslims work together, Israelis and Palestinians with Americans and English and Bulgarian and people from all around the world, then we can kind of join on a common goal, which is peace and togetherness, prosperity for all people in all ways. This organization is bringing a new approach and new ideas and new people together in order to effectuate it.
So you see, Gaza is only a stepping stone. After that, the AI smart cities, the digital ID and monetary tracking implemented there will then be implemented globally. He has unveiled the plan. And Trump? Well, for a long time, many wondered, will he seek a third term as president? And honestly, with this Board of Peace, with the world's most powerful leaders coming together to fund it. Remember, they said raising money is not even an issue. Like, they got the funds.
This is not a problem of money.
Mark said we don't really have a resource issue here, although we are going to need everyone's support. We just need to be executing and doing this in a good way.
And so with this organization, you have the world leaders backing it, the world's kings joining to empower it. As long as Trump is the head of it, he won't need to seek re-election. As the king of this peace board, he will have global authority indefinitely. So it's interesting, absolutely. And the next few years, my friends, will be very insightful, eye-opening, to say the least. And so I encourage you to stay watching and share this video with others. It's time. It's time to spread the word so they can see how things are shaping up just as the Bible said they would. And for those of us on Christ's side, it's exciting to live in times such as these. God bless.
Okay, folks, I don't know what you think about all this, but I'm telling you, the time has come to stand up against everything. People want to bury their head in the sand, just like my relative. They want to defend a man that they think is going to save this country, and he's not. He's for the New World Order. He's for the one world government. And the faith office that he has is full of heretics. They're evil to the core. Folks, you got to pay attention to this stuff. And that's where I'm at. And for now, I'm out.